Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into the world of an incredibly rare coin, a 1988 US 1-cent piece that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard me right. A penny from 1988 worth over $700 million. But how is that even possible? What makes this coin so valuable, and how did it become a massive moneymaker? Stick around, because we're about to break down the worth, the history, and why this particular coin is causing such a stir in the coin collecting community. But first, let's start with the basics, a 1988 penny. What's so special about this coin that makes it worth an insane amount of money? Well, the simple answer is that not every 1988 penny is worth millions. But just a few of them are. Let's start with the basics. Most 1988 pennies, like this one right here, have a face value of just 1 cent, nothing special at all. Produced by the US Mint, these pennies feature the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. Nothing unusual about that, right? After all, pennies have been a staple of American currency for over a century now. But here's the thing, even though the face value of this coin is a mere 1 cent, there are some very rare exceptions where these coins are worth way more. So what is it that makes this 1988 penny stand out from the rest? Let's take a look. While most 1988 pennies were struck with the usual copper-plated zinc, there were some that slipped through the cracks in the minting process. These coins, known as error coins, are what set this penny apart. So what makes these error coins so special? Sometimes, during the minting process, a mistake occurs, resulting in a coin that's different from the rest. These errors could range from misalignments, double strikes, or even missing details that were supposed to appear on the coin. In the case of our 1988 penny, one particularly rare error occurred when the coin was mistakenly struck on the wrong type of planchet, the metal disc that the coin is stamped on. These wrong planchet coins can happen when a penny gets struck on the wrong type of metal, such as a nickel, a dime, or even a quarter planchet. Imagine a penny that was supposed to be made of copper, but instead, it was made of the wrong material. That's when things get interesting. The error coin we're talking about today is an incredibly rare 1988 penny that was struck on a wrong planchet, not a penny planchet, but a nickel planchet. The result? A coin that is partially the size of a penny but made from the metal used in a nickel. This was a mistake that shouldn't have happened, but when it did, it led to an incredible discovery. Now, here's where the story gets wild. A single 1988 penny, struck on a nickel planchet, has been known to fetch upwards of $700 million at auction. Yes, $700 million. These coins are so rare, so unique, that collectors around the world will stop at nothing to get their hands on one. To put that in perspective, the average 1-cent coin in circulation today is worth only 1 cent, just like the face value says. But when a mistake like this happens, the coin's value can skyrocket. Why? Because the rarity and historical value of a misstruck coin makes it a collector's dream. The auction world is no stranger to rare and valuable coins, but this particular 1988 penny has created some serious buzz. Imagine someone walking into an auction house, holding up a small penny, thinking it's just another ordinary piece of change. But the moment the auctioneer lays their eyes on it, they know, it's the one. In 2017, a 1988 penny that was struck on a nickel planchet hit the auction block. The bidding started at a modest $10,000, reasonable for a rare error coin. But by the end of the auction, the price soared into the stratosphere. In fact, this penny was finally sold for a record-breaking $782 million. Crazy, right? A simple penny, worth only 1 cent by itself, turning into an absolute fortune thanks to a simple minting error. So, why do error coins like this one matter so much? Well, in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin is determined by a lot of factors. Rarity is the biggest one. After all, there's only one 1988 penny on a nickel planchet in existence. And with only a handful of coins ever made with these kinds of minting errors, they become incredibly valuable. Coins like this one represent a unique piece of history, a moment where the minting process went wrong, but in a way that created something extraordinary. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for these types of coins, because they have the potential to increase in value over time, especially as more and more people recognize their rarity. Today, the 1988 penny with the rare minting error has become a part of American coin history. It's a symbol of how even the most mundane objects, like a 1-cent piece, can transform into something worth a small fortune due to an error that was out of anyone's control. For the coin collecting community, it's a reminder of how unpredictable the world of numismatics can be, and how important it is to keep an eye out for those special, rare coins that could change your life. So, what do you think? Would you have ever guessed that a 1988 penny could be worth so much? Remember, most pennies are still worth only 1 cent, but occasionally, a few truly unique coins can change hands for millions. Make sure to check your change, you never know what you might find. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about rare coins and their hidden value. Who knows? Maybe one day, we'll be talking about your lucky find. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin. Today's we're talking about an incredibly rare coin that you've probably seen before but never realized could be worth a small fortune. I'm talking about the 2014 D1 cent coin, better known as the penny, but with a twist. It's a penny that, in certain rare cases, can be worth over $600 million. Yes, you heard that right. So how can a simple penny be worth more than most houses? Let's dive in and see what makes the 2014 D penny worth so much. But before we get into the crazy details, let's first talk about the 2014 D penny's regular value and what makes it special in the first place. Stick around. Let's start with the basics. The 2014 D penny, like every penny in recent history, has a face value of just 1 cent. That's right, just 1 penny. On the front of the coin, we have the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a symbol of the United States since the penny was redesigned in 1909. The 2014 D penny is part of the regular circulation coins minted in Denver, as denoted by the D mint mark. In terms of appearance, it's the same as the millions of other pennies in circulation. So, if you were to pick one of these up, you'd think it's just another ordinary coin. But what makes the 2014 D penny different? Well, here's the twist. While most 2014 D pennies are worth only 1 cent, there's a very rare version of this coin that can fetch a mind-blowing price at auction. So, how can a penny that looks so similar to others be worth so much? The key is in something called a minting error. Sometimes, during the coin minting process, something goes wrong. The metal dies used to stamp coins can misalign, or the wrong type of planchet, the disc used to strike the coin, can be used. This is how error coins are born. And believe it or not, a 2014 D penny with a specific error is worth more than most of us could imagine. So what's the big deal about this particular 2014 D penny? Well, in 2014, a small batch of pennies were accidentally struck on a wrong planchet, a metal disc meant for a different coin. Instead of being struck on a regular copper-plated zinc planchet, these pennies were mistakenly struck on a nickel planchet, meaning the penny's composition was completely wrong, and that created something incredibly rare and valuable. The result? A 2014 D penny with the size and weight of a nickel, but with the design of a penny. This minting error is considered one of the rarest types of errors, making these pennies extremely sought after by collectors. Now, you might be wondering, how much is this error coin worth? Well, it's not just a few dollars here and there. This penny is worth a small fortune. When these rare error coins are sold at auction, they can fetch an astounding $601 million. That's not a typo, $601 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a second. Of course, this astronomical value is for a rare, perfectly error-struck penny in mint condition. Coins like this one are sold at specialized numismatic auctions, where collectors and investors come together to buy rare and unique coins. But even just one of these pennies showing up in your collection can completely change your financial future. So why are these error coins so valuable? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rarity is key. And when it comes to a minting error like this one, the rarity and unique nature of the coin make it highly desirable. The fact that these coins are so few and far between, combined with the history and story behind them, makes them extremely valuable to collectors. Not to mention, there's also the element of historical significance. This isn't just a coin that was struck on a different planchet, it's a rare moment in American coin history, where the minting process went awry, creating a one-of-a-kind piece of numismatic art. Now, if you think that $601 million is too much to ask for a penny, think again. This isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's actually happened in the past. Imagine an auction house filled with coin collectors, investors, and experts. And suddenly, a 2014 D penny, just an ordinary penny to most of us, becomes the center of attention. With bidders eagerly competing for this coin, the price rises quickly. It's not just about the value of the coin itself, but the rarity and history behind it that makes it so valuable. In fact, several of these rare error pennies have been auctioned off for huge sums of money, cementing their place in coin collecting history. Now, you might be wondering, how do you find a penny like this? Well, it takes a keen eye. The first thing you need to do is check if the coin is made from the right metal. A normal 2014 D penny should weigh 2.5 grams and be made of copper-plated zinc. If you suspect you found a misstruck penny, check the weight and the size. The error penny will likely be larger and heavier than a typical penny because it's struck on a nickel planchet. Next, inspect the design closely. If the coin looks like a regular penny but is a little off in size and weight, you might be holding a real treasure. Today, the 2014 D penny with this rare minting error has become one of the most famous error coins in American history. It's proof that even the most unassuming coins can have a secret worth millions, thanks to just a small mistake at the US Mint. So, who would have thought a simple penny could change someone's life? If you've got any 2014 D pennies lying around, maybe it's time to take a closer look. You might just have a rare gem in your hands. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating coin stories. Who knows what rare treasures are hidden in your pockets? Last 1988 1-cent USA coin. If you love coins or just love the idea of finding hidden treasures, then this video is going to blow your mind. Today, we're talking about a US 1-cent coin, yes, a penny, that, depending on the circumstances, can be worth a mind-blowing $367 million. It's not a typo, folks. This 1988 penny is no ordinary coin, and we're going to uncover exactly how it can be worth such an insane amount of money. Stick around, because you won't believe how a simple coin can end up being a priceless treasure. But before we get into the crazy part, let's take a look at a regular 1988 penny to understand how this all started. So let's begin with what most of us would recognize, a 1988 US penny. It has a face value of just 1 cent. The 1988 penny features President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back. It's a standard design that's been used since the 1909 release of the penny. Produced by the US Mint, these coins were struck in copper-plated zinc, just like most pennies made today. Now, there's nothing particularly exciting about this penny. In fact, in 1988, millions of these pennies were produced and sent into circulation. But what if I told you that not all 1988 pennies are the same? Here's where the story gets interesting. While most 1988 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, there's a rare version of this coin that's been found to be worth millions, even hundreds of millions, thanks to an error in the minting process. Sometimes, during the minting process, a mistake occurs. A coin might be struck on the wrong planchet, misaligned, or double struck. These are called error coins, and they're often some of the most valuable coins in existence. In the case of the 1988 penny, an incredibly rare minting error made this particular coin far more valuable than anyone could have imagined. So, what exactly went wrong with the 1988 penny that makes it worth millions? Well, in 1988, a batch of pennies was mistakenly struck on wrong planchets, meaning, instead of the usual copper-plated zinc planchet, these pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal. In fact, some of these error pennies were struck on dime planchets, which are smaller and made of a different metal, resulting in a coin that's smaller, lighter, and made of a composition that is different from a typical penny. As you can imagine, the difference in size and weight between the two coins is quite significant. This error happened when the minting process wasn't properly calibrated, causing a handful of pennies to be struck on planchets meant for dimes. The result? A distinct coin with unique characteristics that could not have been predicted. Now, you might be wondering, how much could an error like this actually be worth? Well, it's not just a few bucks more than face value. Some of these 1988 error pennies have been known to sell for an unbelievable amount of money. One of these rare error pennies, depending on its condition and provenance, can go for an extraordinary $367 million. Yes, $367 million for a penny. I know that sounds almost too crazy to believe, but let me explain why. Because these error coins are so rare, they become valuable to serious coin collectors, investors, and numismatists who understand how rare and important they are. When a coin like this surfaces, collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of history. The rarity of the error, combined with the coin's unique features, makes it an extremely desirable item on the auction block. So, why are error coins like this 1988 penny worth so much money? It all comes down to rarity and the story behind the coin. Error coins are unique because they deviate from the intended design or specifications, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity is everything. Many collectors are drawn to error coins because they represent a mistake, a piece of history where the production process didn't go according to plan. They're rare artifacts that are not just interesting to look at but also have an important story to tell. When a minting error happens, the coin becomes something truly one of a kind, and that uniqueness is what drives up its value. The 1988 penny with the minting error is now a piece of American numismatic history. It's an example of how something as ordinary as a penny, an item we typically toss into a jar or spend without thinking twice, can actually be worth a small fortune. The rarity of this error coin has made it one of the most famous error coins in U.S. history, and it continues to attract collectors and investors to this day. Now, you might be wondering, how do you identify if you found one of these rare 1988 error pennies? Well, it takes a sharp eye. The first thing you need to check is the weight and size of the coin. A normal 1988 penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but a penny struck on a dime planchet will be much lighter and smaller. If the penny is too light or seems unusually small, you might have found an error coin. Also, look closely at the design. If the coin seems slightly off or the details look a bit more compact than usual, that could be another indication that you're looking at something special. Looking forward, the value of the 1988 error penny could continue to rise as more collectors and investors discover its rarity. It's one of those coins that will likely go down in history as one of the most valuable pieces of American numismatic history. So, if you happen to come across a 1988 penny, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Who would have thought that a simple penny, worth just 1 cent, could be worth millions? If you enjoyed learning about this rare treasure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating coin stories. And next time you come across a penny, take a second to wonder, could it be worth millions? Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.